You just can't help but like Trump when he's talking, and he's got all the fake media trying to trip him up, and he just smacks them down. Look, even if you're not a true Trump fan, right, you have to admire the fact that someone is prepared to give a speech before the world. And his comedic timing, it slays me. And use comedy, put downs, one liners, seek out the fake news, point them out. He even had the two guys behind him, they were like that, cracking smiles because of Trump's comedy. Yeah, he's a very, very likable person. Right. Now, I don't know who the man of lawlessness is likely to be. But what I will say is, I can't see anybody else in the world that fits the mold better than Donald Trump. Now, the man of lawlessness, at first, will do great and wonderful things. And he will be put on a pedestal. And he'll be treated almost in a godlike status, which is what's happening right now with Trump. He's been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, or what I like to say, the pseudo Nobel Peace Prize, because peace, it's not as easy to get as that, is it? No more wars. Be nice though, wouldn't it, if you was a leader and you could rid your country of all wars, all inflation, all debt. How would that make you feel? Well, it would make you feel godlike, that nothing can touch you, nobody can knock you off your perch. And that has all the characteristics of the man of lawlessness for me. See, half the world is falling in love with Donald Trump because of his charismatic personality and almost magnetic. And those that don't like him, the left-sided media and the fake media, they have an agenda. So they will always try and pick something out and hit him with a slanted and distorted question, which won't be based off any truth. But they're not bothered about that, because all they're trying to do is trip him up. And a perfect example of that was today when he was giving his speech, and one of his generals, and then Marco Rubio, they knew what was going on. Anyway, all I'm saying to you is, Donald Trump is not Jesus Christ. So I want to put things into perspective. I don't mind admitting that I always watch his speeches because I never know what he's going to say. And he makes me laugh. He generally makes me laugh. Usually when someone asks a ridiculous question and he... But you also see a compassionate side to Trump. And there was a woman reporter from Ukraine, and he asked about her husband. And I just thought that was a very touching scene. And you don't always see that with world leaders. But with Trump, he found out that her husband is fighting in Ukraine. And what does he say to this woman? Say hello to your husband for me. And she found it hard to ask the question because of the emotion of Ukraine. And yet she did. And Trump had this way of calming her down. So he's able to see who is genuine and who is false. And when he comes up against the falsities in the room, he shows a different side to himself, But whereas that woman, he could see she was genuine, and he was showing a very compassionate side. And I like that about him. So I'm not a complete hater of him, but I don't want anybody to be put on a pedestal for bringing peace to the world other than Christ Jesus, the Son of God. That's the only one, for me, who will be able to achieve true peace to the world. But anybody that's making an attempt, it's mesmerizing, extremely mesmerizing, to see how he wants to be known as the President of Peace. I mean, this is just something that's never happened in my lifetime. I remember every past president and all dictators of the world only ever talking about warfare, hardly any talking about peace. Maybe Reagan did a couple of speeches on peace, but Trump's different. Right, let's just say, for the sake of this video, that Trump is definitely the man of lawlessness, and at first he does these marvelous, wonderful things in the world, and so he is put on a pedestal, and maybe he wins the Nobel Peace Prize, which he's been nominated for. So he wins it. But a few years down the line, and before he's out of office, he completely changes. And this is what's going to happen with the man of lawlessness, because ultimately he does these things and he is loved. And people want to put their arms around him and tell him how wonderful he is. But later on, you find out that he's not the person you think he is. And he brings the world to a war and corrals them into doing something against their will. I hope that doesn't happen. I wouldn't like to see that that's what is going to happen in the not too distant future, because you'll be saying to yourself then that you've been fooled, that he was able to fool us. But sometimes you've got to say to yourself, well, if Satan can transform himself into an angel of light, then certainly those that are working for him can do the same. But it's very, very hard at the moment to see any wrong in him, isn't it, in Trump? Because everything he's doing, it's almost like he's King Midas, okay? And there's doom and gloom coming from all around him. And he just walks in and he just makes a decision here, makes a decision there, and it just turns to gold. That he's got the gold touch. And it's very hard to see that he's going to do anything to be painted black at the moment. But if he is the man of lawlessness, people, that's exactly what will happen. Eventually, he will not be that golden boy. That will have just been an act. And that all along, he's been working for a darker force. But it will be too late by then, because everybody will have been tricked into serving him. If ever I wanted to be wrong, it would be now. I would like to definitely be wrong about this, that Trump doesn't turn out to be what I think he might be, the man of lawlessness. I don't mind being wrong on this, people, because like I said earlier, he is very likable. He is so likable when he comes out with his comedic timing and his put-downs, and then shows that compassionate side to someone in the room that has a husband that's fighting in Ukraine. And it's this different sides that you see of Trump that sometimes make you think, thank goodness for him. Thank goodness he got back in. And the Democrats didn't rig the last election. Because it just makes watching politics American politics even more exciting when he's in it. And I dare say, once he's gone and someone else comes in, I probably won't take any notice of American politics after that. I will probably just go back to not being interested at all. But until that happens, I'm riveted because of that Trump. How do you feel?